Really what led us to Great Hearts specifically was my children's academic needs. I have 3 children who are dyslexic. As a mom, seeing them get the services that they need is just amazing. They have excelled. The support is fantastic. The communication is out of this world. If there's any concerns that I have with their academics or where they're struggling, I can email their teacher or the special ed director, and immediately I get a response.
I don't feel as stressed anymore because they get up and we have breakfast together, and then they go sit down and they start their classes with their teachers, and so it's a lot less stressful and a lot more freedom. We definitely like to travel as well, and so it's given us an opportunity to do that, or come to a park after class, and they love just being outside and riding their bikes and their scooters and just having fun and being kids.
If you're a parent who's considering Great Hearts Online or any online school, you've got to go with Great Hearts Online. It gives you everything you need and then some.
Good evening, and welcome to Great Hearts Online Texas. My name is Brian Daigle, and I'm the head of school for Great Hearts Online Texas. We're excited for you to join us tonight, for us to provide to you and your family and your scholar a bit more information about Great Hearts Online Texas, both for this school year and especially for the 2024-2025 school year. Our agenda tonight is pretty simple. We'll have a little bit of welcome, and then I will go through the mission and vision of Great Hearts Online Texas. Then we'll have a few of our administrators lead you through particular aspects of our school that we think it's important for you as parents to know and understand, and be privy to as you make a very important decision for how and where and when you educate your children. So we'll have Miss Wynn. Oh, go back, please. Thank you. We'll have Miss Wynn for our lower school experience. Miss Stone will cover our upper school experience. And then Mr. Ryan will discuss our high school experience. And then Miss Colton, our flex model. And then Ms. Thornton, our ESS support, and then I'll have a closing word for us. Our mission at Great Hearts Online is the same as our corporate mission at Great Hearts, and that is to cultivate the hearts and minds of students in pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty. And this sounds like a momentous task, and it is, which is why at Great Hearts Online Texas, it is so important that we partner with you as at-home facilitators, as parents, as guardians, to ensure that this massive work of cultivating the whole child in their schooling, in the education we offer, is done both in our live classes or in our flex model, and also in the work that you continue with them at home. An important part that we believe incorporates education is not just the formation of the intellect, right? We can see that schooling is about the formation of the intellect. We can see from the history of education that the academic formation of a child is vitally important to offering a great education. We also believe in the classical tradition, and especially at Great Hearts, and here at Great Hearts Online Texas, that we must teach our young people to love what is greater than themselves so they can understand who they truly are. And that does mean technical proficiency in the competencies of their subjects, right? The academic classes they take. And it also means the formation of their hearts and of their minds and of their spirits and of their sense of humor and of their literacy, of their literary appetites, their artistic appetites, who they are holistically as people we want to form. And so during our time at Great Hearts Online Texas, you will hear us speak of the 9 virtues. These are 9 virtues that are woven throughout the culture of our school, the culture of our organization, and oftentimes every class period, even math. right? Speaking of citizenship and courage and friendship and honesty and humility and integrity, perseverance, responsibility, and wisdom. Speaking of those within mathematics, speaking of those within ELA, within humane letters, speaking of those within the sciences. And so we believe in the holistic formation of our scholars. And we want to come alongside you to do that as you do that at home as well. I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Nguyen, who is our assistant head of school for lower school, and she will speak with us on some particular elements that make our lower school at Great Hearts Online Texas unique. Hi, Ms. Nguyen.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Great Hearts, as Mr. Daigle said, focuses on the whole child, mind and heart. We believe that on the time they spend online needs to have a perfect balance. We have wiggle breaks for our youngest scholars. We spend about 2.5 hours a day in kindergarten, and in 4th grade, they spend up to almost 4 hours a day online, and the rest of the time is independent work. Our engagement techniques are varied. We have technologies such as Nearpod, and we have document cams. We try to mimic the live classroom as much as possible, and we use Zoom. But the most important tool that we have is the human connection, is creating that classroom culture for your child to feel safe to learn and just delight in the learning with others, their peers around them. In building community, we have a layered community approach. We have grade level community, school-wide community, and in-person events. Parents love to come together and meet the other parents, and the children love to see each other. And it's such a treat when the teachers show up in live events as well. We do stress online guardian support, especially in the younger ages. We do require that parents sit beside their child the first few weeks just to get used to the online atmosphere and moving through all the platforms that we introduce to them. So the home facilitator support is absolutely necessary, especially for those first few weeks. And we also have field days and field trips and meetups and just a galore of events that we can just all come together and take what we've learned inside the classroom and walk into nature and experience these things together. Just for a example of what we do, we have one of our teachers, Mrs. Javonda Knight, who has provided us with a video that I would love to share with you all.
183 plus 329. So, 3 plus 9 is, we're going to make a 10.
Yes, we can make a 10.
So there's a 10, so you just take a 10 and put one up there. Not on it, but that one.
And the 10's
And
place.
then you put a 2 under the 1's place.
Very good.
And then you put a 1 above the 100's place. And
How do we get this one above the 100th place?
because 8 plus 2 is 10, so we have 10 10s.
Very good.
And that 1 goes under, next to the 2.
Perfect. We have
And
one
then
10.
put a 5 there, under the 100's place.
Very nice.
And it's 512.
12. Very good. Let's her. She's fantastic. All on mute. Get your spray. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Fantastic.
As you can see, Mrs. Knight's class is so delightful. And oftentimes we have manipulatives and supplies that we provide for scholars to actually take part in the learning and actually do that math alongside with their peers and their teacher. So that's all I have for lower school. We also have Mrs. Stone here for upper school as well. Ms. Stone?
Thank you, Mrs. Wynn. I appreciate it. I know my heart's always warmed when I see the little kids, and you can see them just love their learning and their excitement for math. I'm a math person, so I love that. For upper school, that's our actually 5th through 8th grade. Their experience starts to get a little more independent. We're teaching the scholars to become more independent and take more responsibility for their learning, managing their time and submitting their work. We still want our at-home facilitators involved and in Canvas and seeing what their scholars doing, but we also want our scholars to start learning how to write down in their agendas what their homework is for that night, and them taking initiative, not the home facilitator having to remind them to do their work. Also in upper school, the teachers begin to utilize breakout rooms. This allows for more scholar collaboration and sharing of ideas. We believe it's really important for our scholars to be able to discuss with each other and discuss great ideas and learn from each other. So one way we allow them to do that is through the use of breakout rooms. When the scholars get into 6th grade, they move from ELA, which would be English Language Arts, into something we call literature and composition. This is where they begin to learn to write their essays. They learn how to write a thesis and support their thesis with textual evidence. All our teachers use scaffolding and start out in small parts to help prepare the scholars when they get to high school and they're asked to write 5-paragraph essays on a regular basis. The last thing that we are so excited to have in our classrooms is when we're developing the art of Socratic discussion with our students. 5th and 6th grade teachers provide support and guidance as the scholars learn to listen and respond to their classmates' ideas, support their own ideas with factual evidence, and take ownership of their learning. Because I know once they get to high school, and I know Mr. Ryan's going to speak to this, they are having these wonderful student or scholar-led discussions in class. I would like to share with you one of our 5th grade classes, Mrs. Lorton, and it's an example how she prepares the scholars for the week and teaches them how to be independent.
Let's go ahead and do our first posture check of the day, making sure we're sitting up nice and straight. Those shoulder blades go into those back pockets. Excellent. Thank you, John. Olivia's looking good. Let's take a moment to shake it out. Last class of the day. Thank you, Ava. Awesome. Movement always helps our brains focus a little bit, right? Go ahead and stretch it up. This is my favorite one. Take a deep breath in. While you breathe out, the arms come down. Okay, let's take a look here. For our homework highlight of the day, we've got Isaiah over in 5B. We can send him some snaps wherever in the world he may be. What I love about this, he's got those page numbers. He clearly completed it thoroughly, right? So you are asked to describe Mary. Look for ways in the book in which she is described. On page 1, she is described as ill and ugly. She's also described as tyrannical and selfish. Selfish came up multiple times, right? We always pay attention to that because that's our author saying, look at this. I need you to know this. She's selfish. And then finally he said frowning. Is there anything you want to add on to this list? Take a look at your own notes from chapter 4. Or not 4. Oh my goodness. Chapter 1. Anything you want to add on? Go ahead, John.
She was misliked. Her mother never wanted her, so and she just refused her, and nobody likes her.
Great, thank you, John. Go ahead, Robert.
Finn and Unwanted.
Thin, unwanted. Great. Go ahead, Anaya.
She's described a little bit like a brat, like very disagreeable, and that's not the best thing for her because she is also still a little girl, which is probably normal.
Yeah, thank you, Anaya. Based on all of these words, ill, ugly, thin, unwanted, disagreeable, tyrannical, selfish, is this someone that you would want as a friend? Why not? I'm seeing a lot of head shaking. Why not? Go ahead, Julia.
Because they would probably be rude as a friend.
Yeah.
So that just gave you a small glimpse into one of our literature classes. Now I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Ryan. He is our academic dean for high school and upper school. Take it away, Mr. Ryan.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Stone. Hello, everyone. As Ms. Stone just mentioned, my name is Mr. Ryan, Chad Ryan. I'm the dean for 7th through 9th and moving into high school. And I'm here tonight to talk to you a little bit about the high school, and which is kind of nascent and emerging for us. We've started with 9 this year, and we'll be building on with 10 next year, and so on and so forth for the next few years. What is it that separates high school, or particularly Great Heart High School? Well, as Mr. Daigle noted earlier, Great Hearts is a school which follows the classical tradition, particularly an Aristotelian character model. So we focus on the whole child, not just a student as a kind of a solely existing academic being. They have a life outside of that. And we try and focus on the virtues and the ideas that build up the whole student. So it's a serious undertaking, in my opinion, and Great Hearts is also preparatory, not only academically, but as I was mentioning, morally, but also socially. We try and cultivate good citizens, good future citizens. So a couple of things about the high school that are quite striking. One is, Ms. Stone was just saying, Humane Letters is, for our high school curriculum, our capstone series. I might be a little biased here as I'm a Humane Letters teacher. The books we read and discuss, the questions we ask together, I like to say to my HL students, HL is not a class about particular books. It's a course about thinking about ideas. So we, as Ms. Stone was saying again earlier, we really try as we move through high school to really dig deeper in, not necessarily into the books, although the books are the vehicle, but we try and understand some of the ideas and concepts and philosophical meanings within those, which in turn build us, right? A short video is going to follow in just a few moments where you will notice kind of the dialogic nature of the Humane Letters course, the give and take between students building off each other. This starts in 7th grade and 8th grade, but by the time our students get in 9th grade, our expectations begin to build and build, where we really ask them to focus on not just themselves within a classroom, but understanding and being attentive listeners to others. Another point, I'll move from there. Another thing about our school is the ability to do 2 different paths in high school. We have college partners that we work with. Currently, we have 2 institutions of higher learning. We have Western Texas College and Arizona State University. These are excellent opportunities to gain throughout a high school career the required credits to graduate high school with an accompanying associate's degree. I know that would have been a huge value to me when I was in high school in terms of time, experience, and as we all know, money saved. College is not a cheap endeavor anymore. So that is something that we offer. And I would be happy if you have any questions at all to run through how that would look in 9th through 12th grade. I can say in 9th grade, our partnerships with Arizona State and Western Texas College, our freshmen are currently taking a physical education course through one of those colleges. And in the 2nd semester, they'll move into art. And then it continues on. And again, I would be happy to speak with anyone. If you would like to email me your questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Secondly, even though we do have this college course. That doesn't mean that everybody's the same. We don't all have the same future in mind. Perhaps college isn't something that your particular son or daughter is ready for at the moment, being a freshman. Maybe they just are nervous, or whatever the case may be. They don't want to go into a college setting. Completely understandable. We also have a traditional path, which allows students to graduate high school with a distinguished level of achievement endorsement, which is given in Texas. And again, I'm happy to supply you with that information related to graduation requirements that were enacted through House Bill 5 back in 2014. I'd be happy to supply you with that information. But all students who graduate high school with us, they will graduate with what I said was that distinguished level of achievement, which takes 26 credits in the state of Texas. It's worth noting, however, that even if college classes are not in the cards, again, your child can nevertheless still receive college credit for certain in-house courses, such as humane letters being one of those. I'll stop now. I have a tendency to ramble. So I would love to show you a video which gives a wonderful kind of snapshot at what a 9th grade HL class will look like. In this particular setting, they are reading The Scarlet Letter, and they are discussing a certain turn of events in the character of Dimmesdale, which is one of the main characters. So please enjoy, and thank you.
So today's questions are going to be based on chapters 20 and 21. First of all, can anybody remind us what has happened in the forest prior to chapter 20? So just kind of sum up the end of 19, what's happening there. Finn.
Hi, sorry. So, in the forest, Hester meets up with Dimmesdale. She tells him, hey, Roger's my husband. We need to go now. And Dimmesdale's like, I think we do need to go now. So they decide to go now. They're going to, I believe it said, get on a boat. They're going to leave town, head back to England, and throw their past life behind.
Exactly. Yep, well summarized. So Dimmesdale's returning from the forest now, okay? And my first question in your guided reading was, how would you describe Dimmesdale's disposition, his mood, as he returns to town from the forest? Give some examples of his unusual thoughts and his actions. So we see a very different Dimmesdale, okay? Very different from the one who's usually sort of trembling with his hand over his heart. Victoria?
For some odd reason, he starts having unusually cruel thoughts almost out of the blue. I feel it. He starts thinking badly of, thinking vile thoughts of old women, children. I think it was the deacon. I'm not sure. You correct me if I'm wrong. And he's just going around and he's just thinking these cruel thoughts, which kind of reminds me of Chillingworth now.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Then Keziah, then Finn.
I have a quotation to support Victoria's point. It's on page 204, in the middle of it, if you have this edition of it. And since Dimmesdale had, which, unless it had been likewise a heavenly comfort, could have been none at all, was to meet her pastor, whether casually or set on purpose to refresh, with a word of warm, fragrant, heaven-breathing gospel truth from his beloved lips into her dulled but rapturously attentive ear. But on this occasion, up to the moment of putting his lips into the old woman's ear, Mr. Dimmesdale, as a great enemy of the souls would have it, could recall no text of scripture nor aught else except a brief, pithily, and is appeared to him unanswerable argument against the morality of the human soul.
Okay, so in your own words then, you're right, that definitely is a section that supports.
Thank you. See, in in that video, if you were looking quite carefully, what's happening there is it begins with a short summary, and then it seems almost automatically, but it's not. Mrs. Ryan has been working with them since the beginning to work in a very kind of collegial way. They begin to build off each other's ideas. So you saw Victoria gave her assessment, and then someone built on top of hers by giving textual evidence and support. And what that does over time is that becomes an actual discussion between students where the teacher can actually step back a little bit. And it's quite an amazing thing to see as they go through the high school period. Next slide, please. I just want to show you guys just very briefly, and then I will leave, I promise. This is a typical block schedule for a freshman. This year we have a section A of live students, which I'll explain in a moment, and a section B of live students. So this is section A. Imagine section B is the complete opposite of this. So as you can see, on Mondays and Wednesdays, section A will start with geometry in the morning, have a break, and then go into biology. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, one thing you will notice if you look closely, they will have humane letters. Humane letters is a block class, meaning it's a twofer. It's 2 in 1. They are gaining their English credit, but they are also gaining a history credit as well. And again, if you have any questions about what that looks like from 9th to 12th grade and the different topics they study, please email me and I'd be happy to explain how that works. As you will see, Monday and Wednesday and Tuesday and Thursday, you also have independent work hours, right? Because the school day doesn't last traditionally until about, at least in person until 3 o'clock. So they still have that time to work on their asynchronous work. On Fridays, we don't have class. However, that doesn't mean that students aren't working. And you'll see at the bottom there, that gives you an idea of the kind of preparation that they'll be putting in for their asynchronous or their independent work. Much like we have 2 paths towards graduation, either the college path or the traditional high school path, we also have 2 means of getting there. And the one that you're looking at right now, this would be what is called the live model. These are live classes. The other model we have, which is independent of this, is called the flex model. And the flex model is something that Mrs. Crystal Colton will be explaining to you. So Mrs. Colton, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Hello, everyone. The Flex program is a great fit for families that enjoy learning time independently. And the home facilitator, the parents, the guardians are the leaders of that space. And families have dedicated time to explore academic learning opportunities with their scholars. The families, scholars that are normally a best fit are organized, self-motivated learners and enjoy adapting methods of learning that are unique to their own particular scholar. So for example, if your scholar's area of concern is science, you can spend careful, meaningful time in that area while maybe navigating a little more quickly in their areas of strength, such as math or reading. Self-pacing is key. Although assignments are not due until the end of the quarter, you want to ideally keep pace with live instruction. Just like on the live platform, there are academic resources within the lesson. Scholars have access to instructors, advisors that hold office hours and tutoring hours for that needed support. Scholars are also able to participate in virtual field trips and house meetings and local in-person events at their leisure. So this is a great platform for families that are looking for something flexible, but also understand that the time commitment is essential. And I am going to turn it over to our Dean of ESS, Miss Julie Thornton.
Thank you, Ms. Colton. The questions that I get from so many parents joining Great Hearts is, what services are offered? How will my child be successful at your school when they do have a disability? So we are just like a brick and mortar in that we have special education services with IEPs. We have 504s. We go through the MTSS process. We offer dyslexia services and ELL services. So how does that look online? Your child may have to go into the resource setting to receive their instruction. We have different models to fit the individual scholar's needs. We have self-contained classrooms where there's some children that are nonverbal. Then we have our resource setting, which the grade level that your child is in will receive the same curriculum as the grade that they are in, but in the resource setting. So where in one of the gen ed classes, where something might take a teacher a week to present and for the scholars to master, it may take the resource setting 3 weeks to a month, but they are still exposed to everything that the gen ed curriculum has. So we have the breakout rooms, we have their document cameras, we do everything the same way, manipulatives, they give speeches, they do writing, everything. It's just sometimes at a slower pace. As far as the flex model goes, this is another question that we always have is, my child has an IEP, can they participate in the flex model? Yes and no. So if a child needs direct services, for instance, in the area of math, that child would have to attend live for their math session. And then the rest of their classes can be flex. If you have a scholar that is full resource for every gen ed class, they can come to the gen ed classes for the core classes, and then their specials classes, they can do flex. It is very, very important for the families to take part with their scholars based on their needs. So in the beginning, just like the littles, our little scholars, we do need the parents to be by their scholar while they're getting used to the computer and going into Zoom and sharing their screen and so forth. But then we do ask that the parents step back just a little bit and not sit right by their scholar, especially if they're in the upper grades, because we also want to teach them organization, to be responsible, to hand things in. So we offer a full realm of students, and we look forward to having everybody. And I'm now going to turn it over to Mr. Daigle, who is going to have some closing thoughts.
Great, great. Thank you so much, admin. As you all can see, we are so, so proud to offer the education that we can offer to our Texas families. Between our live class offerings, our live model, which we offer, and our flex model, which we offer, we are proud to say that we are the largest online classical charter school in the U.S. And we have so much more ahead of us. And so we hope that one thing you heard tonight is how important this work is to us, how important we know this decision is for you as families. It is a complex decision to say, where will we educate our child this year? Where will we put our children in school this coming school year? What is our family mission and vision for how we want to guide and grow and educate our children? And so we come alongside you in that complexity, in that seriousness, and show you what we offer as Great Hearts Online Texas. We also hope that you heard our 3 big pillars. These are really important. We are a classical school. We are a Great Hearts classical school. So our values, our virtues that we pursue, the kind of content we teach in our classes, the kind of staff we hire, the kind of pedagogical decisions that we make in our classrooms are consistent with this great classical tradition which we've been given. The second pillar is that we are an online school. We're an online school. And so that affords a lot of possibility for you and your family and for your scholars. And we use a virtual platform. And we also balance that virtual platform with ways of asynchronous learning outside of the screen, off the screen, which we can utilize for further gifts. And we can step away when we need to and utilize asynchronous coursework and development in those ways. And then finally, we are a Texas State school. We are a tuition-free Texas State school. And so we are classical, we are online, and we are in Texas. And so we hope that tonight has been very helpful for you in just looking at another great option that you and your family have in front of you. We want you to know that for the 23-24 school year, right now, K through 9th grade, we are still accepting applications. So you can still join us. If you apply tomorrow, you will join us on January 4th, which is when we come back after winter break. And we would love to have you. It is never too late when you're looking at educational choice for you and your scholar. It is never too late to consider where your scholar needs to be to have a successful school year. These windows for our children go so quickly, right? We know that. So applications are still open for this school year. And for next school year, 24-25, enrollment opened November 1st. So if you are not ready to step into our school with us this school year, no problem. We are accepting applications right now for the 24-25 school year. And so enrollment is open for kindergarten through 10th grade for next school year. If you want more information, you may go to our website, www.greatheartsonline.org, or you can email us at info@greatheartsonline.org. We thank you so much for your time. We appreciate the thoughtfulness and the consideration that you're going to have to give. We respect that journey that families have to make each and every year for what's best for the quality of life they want for their scholar and for their family. And so thank you for hearing us. We are happy to come alongside you and answer questions if you have them. And again, thank you for joining us for this time.